Hello. Okay, so Natalie's been picked up, and I decided to try something a little different this time because this table is not level from what I found with this before, and I'm using the cutting board and making sure it's on the edge, the three edges anyway, back side of the drawing board, actually. And my watercolor painting's on the other side, and I'll just have to wait to finish watercolor painting after this is cured enough for it to rest for a couple of days. But anyway, so we're doing, once again, I'm just doing a tiny little bit because I want to get, how to get him? One more humpback whale to add. But I want to add it after I have the blue layer here. Now, what I did is between here and there, I added the turtle and some of the other things. I don't know if I did it a lot. I did a video of me doing that, I think, of the turtle and these things. But I did not do a live video. I did just a regular video because my eyes, and they're probably still a little puffy even today because they kind of still hurt. But they don't hurt as bad. Each day they're getting a little bit better. One hurts more than the other. It gets back and forth. And so, off camera, I put some gold UV resin underneath, over top of where the waves that I created with straw is, for the wet sand to show through. And then I took some UV resin that was yellow to little stripes over here, and I'm hoping it turns out to be a different yellow than this one, but if it don't, it don't. And then I put white over here so that the blue that I have over it won't, if it gets over the edge, it won't cause it to look green. But I had added an extra layer of white to give to keep the two from swirling into each other. And if I make a tiny bit, maybe that will help. So first thing I need to do is glove up. I actually saw a video of somebody who wasn't using gloves to make resin with. And she was a pro on there, but always recommend using gloves because this stuff is sticky, and I do know that this kind only makes me itch a tiny little bit, not like the resin I gave Tracy. The resin I gave Tracy I was definitely allergic to. I don't think I'm allergic to this one. Now this one doesn't tell me which is part A. It don't tell me which. So the one with the white cap is the hardener, and the one with the black cap is the resin. I might have bought too much, a big amount of resin, because from what I read that this stuff doesn't last forever. So let me just pour a tiny little bit in here. I'm going to try to go slower this time. Okay, I think that's the right amount. I didn't overfill it that time. Woohoo! Making a tiny little bit is harder for me than making the regular amount. Only because of small quantities causes, now I have to be careful here too. Pouring up to, oops, almost. But I didn't. This is the hardener. I watched a video showing you what would happen if you use too much. Okay, now, that's good. That is 1-to-1, which is what even this one is. There are some resin things out there that are not 1-to-1. So always read the directions on the resin you buy. The one I gave Tracy is 1-to-1, and this one is 1-to-1. I brought wipes so I can clean my glove, because My glove feels a little sticky. Trying to keep it from being sticky. I don't know how much I'll have to put in the dinosaur, but I'm not going to use the resin machine today either. So I said V8. I was trying to think of figure 8. Scrape the sides and stir, and you want to go slow, and you want to do it for about 3, 4, 5 minutes, probably 4 or 5. And I don't have a way of timing myself right now. I'm just going to keep going really slow. Just go slow. You scrape your sides. You can go up and down, around. And it's recommended to use a silicone or plastic stirring thing instead of a porous wood. Apparently a porous wood can make more bubbles. Some people get a bubble machine. There was one lady saying some was on sale. Then I clicked her link and it wasn't the same one and it wasn't on sale. So I think that's a sign that if I want to get a bubble machine, I can't have no more than this because it rises to the top in removing the bubbles, and I definitely can't afford it until next month anyway. My finances are tight. It's like no more spending for June. No more spending. So I have a doctor appointment next Tuesday. It would have been yesterday, but it got postponed because apparently I was one day earlier than what my insurance would have paid for. That don't make sense because in the past when I was having to do it monthly, I didn't have to pay for those extra A1C tests. So maybe they're going to be doing labs more than just a finger prick. I don't know. But they didn't say it was labs. So I don't know if I should go fasting or not. They didn't tell me to fast. They didn't tell me it was labs. So I spilled a drop there. How did I spill a drop? I don't know. This other drop is resin. So I had put UV resin over top of all stickers so they don't get dislodged. And I have one more that'll go on top of the blue layer after this. And I'll put it on there with UV resin before I come back for the final pour of white. And so anyway, if I have leftover, it's not making very much today. And so I really can't tell what time. And I can't see good enough from here, this angle, to see when someone's online or if I'm getting comments shown. That's because of my glasses, I suppose. I don't have another person to read my comments. I would not want to do the resin while Natalie is here, because then that little child's going to say, "Can I make resin with you?" She already said, "Can I help you paint your painting?" She's never done that. She's always wanted to paint with me, but she's never asked to help me with my big painting. So I let her. I mean, I spilled resin on this, on the other side. When I had it sitting down here up off of the table, I spilled resin on it. And trying to get the resin off, I made a big giant hole. And and then I had to figure out how to patch it. So it already has a patch in it, and I was being lazy and not wanting, and I'm taking it in a little different direction than I did the one that's in my watercolor journal. Matter of fact, there's flowers I need to paint in that journal, and you see there's bearded irises, and there's daffodils, and there is also a snow scene that I got an idea for a snow scene when I was watching a YouTuber that's from Europe area. I can't think of the name. It's not coming to me right now. But he was hiking in his mountains in the spring times, and it snowed big time on his way back. And so, because it snowed big time on his way coming back, it was beautiful. And there was his little car covered in snow. And all of that gave me an idea to make a forest snow watercolor painting. It'll be mostly white and gray. So. And, you know, like before, I said it was making bubbles before. Yes. I still see lots of bubbles. But apparently, going faster will give you even more bubbles. And using a wooden stick will give you bubbles. I think any stirring will give you bubbles. And bubbles with color in it sometimes might not show the tiny ones inside it. As long as you don't have surface bubbles. And I just want to make sure that I got this well mixed. You need it well mixed. Well mixed. And go slow. Sometimes it is hard to go slow. I'm finding it very hard to go slow. But the slower you go, the less bubbles you will get. Even though I see a lot of bubbles, if I went faster, I guess there would be more. So the bubbles are purely created by the stirring action. And I'm going back and forth and in a figure 8 and back and forth and back and forth and then up and down. And it's not cloudy like it was before, so I think it's getting pretty well mixed. So I'm going to get this out. It's probably been long enough now. I haven't timed it. I can't see the clock on here. And I can't see if I have anybody watching. I'm not coming on a normal time that I would. I guess people, if you're watching the replay, just put replay and give me a comment. Let me know you're watching the replay. Now to clean. Okay. We will start with, I'm going to lay this down here. And my pinky is getting stuck. Pinky does not like it sometimes, and I have a little bit of I have a bone spur on here, right there on that part of my hand, and it causes the pinky to go down. Then when I try to raise it, it won't always come up unless I've done it exercised it a couple of times. But if I hold it too long, it like feels like it goes click. So, okay, now I'm going to try to pour half of this into here. Okay, I think that's good. Clean my glove off again, because I don't want resin all over the place. I'm going to start with the yellow. And when you have this tiny amount, you don't want to do too much of your powder or even alcohol inks. I think that should be enough. And I'm going to wipe this thing off so that it won't mess up the blue. And I'm going to actually stir the yellow first, round and round, and we're going to get this other one stirred before we pour. And get that mixed in there good. Stirring once again slowly. I'm going more in a up and down, bringing it out like that motion. I'm not an expert. I'm new to resin. I'm still learning, and I still like to watch videos of experts telling you the funny how when I'm doing my watercolor painting or drawing, I will say, ignore. I don't want to watch the videos of watercolor because I'm not an expert. I mean, I'm not a beginner when it comes to my artwork, like watercolor or color pencil drawings and stuff. I'm not. Oil pastels, I watched for a little bit, but I'm also, in that regards, a little bit not a beginner. So I'm going to get this stick out of here. Set that here out of my way. Take this little wipey and clean it off a little bit. Set that down and see, look, here's what I mean. This stick, ouch. Okay. Now, for the blue, this is a different color than the first blue. And so, not so easy to open these bags when you got gloves on. I almost got it. There we go. Ah, okay. Now, got between the two. Okay. And just remember, I don't want to do too much, but I think a little, yeah, that wasn't much more. That was just a tiny smidgy more. I'm going to wipe that one off again before I start stirring it. Close my little mica powder bag. You can use your soap making mica powder if you were a soap maker and you already have mica. That's okay to use. The soap making powders that you use are going to be skin safe. So I don't know what would happen if you tried to add fragrance oils. I mean, you'd probably have a fragrance smelling epoxy thing that might only last a little while. Okay, so now I'm going to stir this in here, up and down, and trying to keep on going. And this slowly stirring. I'm going to get this stirred in good before I move on to pouring the yellow first. And I'm going to wipe this little silicone stick off. It came with silicone measuring cup and little pouring things, but I have found that I have had the tendency to knock those little those cups that you can pour into and reuse with the silicone, I knock them over a lot. So I'm trying to use something that I'm not going to knock over as much. And I find it easier to see where this lettering is if I mark them. See, I marked them with the washi tape. That's what it's called. I keep forgetting to call it washi tape. But it's washi tape. And I got loads of washi tape. I bought it to try to use to hold my watercolor down, paper onto the drawing board, but I found that masking tape worked better for that. So, the yellow we're going to pour first. Now, it's sitting over there waiting for me to be ready for it, and I'm almost got this mixed in enough. And, we're stirring slowly. I'm still getting bubbles. I'm trying not to stir fast. It's not as easy a task to do when you're eager to get going. Now, Natalie has gone home. I don't know if we have her tomorrow. But if we have her tomorrow, this will be mostly set. So if we do have her tomorrow, it will be set, and I'll be able to move it away for it to cure somewhere else. Now I'm going to set that down and clean this off again. And then we're going to see how level I made this. Get my things done. And now here, we're going to start pouring. Now I do have at least one more layer to do. I'm going to do the full 8 ounce on here. Next time it goes up to 8 ounce, I'm going to do the full 8 ounce. Yeah, I'm not going to have any yellow to go into the dinosaur. He might not get no resin today. I might have to give him his own little resin thing later. I really wanted the yellow in there. I'm spreading it with this spoon. I'm going to move it, see if it's better level. Bubbles that need popping on the edge there. Trying to get as much as in there as I can. Okay, I'm gonna once again wipe off my stick. So I'll use it with the blue again. I'll have another time of wiping the stick off. And so this is going to go ahead and go into my trash. Okay, and here we go with this. I think it looks beautiful. Yes, dinosaur's not getting any today. I didn't want to make too much. I wanted the top layer to be white, and I wanted enough room for the white layer to go in, which I have succeeded in doing that, so. And helping it move along. Definitely helping it move along. And cleaning that off before I use it to get all I can into there. drip, drip, drip. There we go. Okay. Got that. I'm going to get this and clean this, use this other one, because I did get 2 out. Clean this off. Lay this down. Might take this here. Oh no. Okay. I see what's happening. Okay, so if there's too much green looking water, I'll just have to put some more, maybe put some blue UV resin over top of that area to give it a better look. Hopefully the sand won't go spreading over. It's going in the better direction. I'd rather it go downward into the blue than into the white. So I'm going to go ahead and hello there, Jen Satter watching. I don't see comments right now, so if you posted comments, I'm getting ready to see comments. But with me having shots a week ago, I mean Friday, not even a whole week. In 2 days it'll be a whole week. It's hard to see even with these glasses right now with my eyes hurting. Let's see. Bring these on video. Oh. I'm going to take my gloves off and click on that little thing there. Well, I didn't know what that did. Okay, so I've got the resin poured. Now I have to let it sit. This resin, the art resin that I have, it's slower, and it takes 24 hours to get hard, and then up to 3 days for it to fully set. So it's going to be a few days before I can finish the final one. I'll use UV resin to put this last little whale in place. He'll go about right there. So we got one more step to do, but I gotta let this layer cure good. I'm gonna push it a little here, trying to get it to be level. I don't know if it's my table or the mold, but I have it on top of this thing, which is a large, huge, giant drawing board. I turned it backside. My watercolor painting that's large is on the other side. Natalie was decided, I want to help you watercolor paint. The dinosaur didn't get any today. He's still got a ways to go, but he can wait. I might have to give him a layer of yellow with the UV resin, just because I want some yellow there before I put the final layer on it. The next layer is going to be white for this, so I don't know if I have leftover. I'm probably going to mix in some yellow afterwards before I pour it into there, so that might be what I'll do. But for now, there's this. I want white over top of the back part of it because, you know, I'm working on upside down, and so my yellow is flooding into the blue. And we shall see what happens with that. I might have to do another thing of UV resin up here, and then add in some that looked like a bubble. Add in some of the more blue to get it to be looking blue. Even if it looks a little awkward. I'm going to skim around the edge here just because I feel like there are bubbles that are needing to be taken care of. And I'm going to go around here on this edge as a final little step before because I can see bubbles trying to form on the edges there. But another way to get rid of bubbles, and didn't bring it over here with me, is to spray torch or use the rubbing alcohol. And after I get done here and move the table and off of here, I'm going to spray it with rubbing alcohol. My internet isn't too good. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and say bye and finish this. And everybody, you can watch the replay and leave me a comment. I would like to wish that Facebook was showing me the comments, but Facebook don't like me for some reason. I don't know. I have my hair up in a bun today, so it won't get in the resin. All right, so bye. I'm going to go ahead and finish up.